If ever we need a reminder, we could just go to our kitchen. What am I talking about? Remember, I'm a teacher, not a speaker. Sometimes we just need a reminder, and when we need that reminder, just go to the kitchen. We might have to have our own kitchen chronicles, if you want to call that. Just last night, we had a fresh pineapple. I cut the top off. I used my little pineapple core device, and I turned it, and I cut up all that nice, sweet, fresh, juicy pineapple, and had a nice snack yesterday evening. But I remember one thing. If I were to cut the top off of that pineapple, I remember doing that when I was younger, and we would take a little sauce or put just a little thin layer of water on top and sit the top of the pineapple on that saucer of water. And all we had to do for the most part was give it time and some sunlight. And over time, the top of that pineapple will continue to grow. One time, I even just threw the top of the pineapple out in my backyard, and I was cutting the grass, only to go by weeks or a few months later and to see that the pineapple was starting to spread and the leaves were growing. Reminded me of one thing. We have so much potential inside of us, you all. Remember, I'm a teacher, not a speaker. When I went into the kitchen, I saw this apple on the counter. I saw this lemon on the counter. And one thing we know about these fruit, if I were to cut them in half, what do they contain? They contain seeds at that very center. What can I do with those seeds? Apple seeds produce apples. Lemon seeds or lime seeds produce limes. I could just leave these potatoes under the counter and they're still going to produce what? They're going to produce potatoes. We just are taking a moment just to have a kitchen chronicle moment. If I want apples, I need to have the ideal environment that produces apples. I'm not going to have a potato and produce apples from potatoes. In order for this potato to produce more potatoes, it typically needs a dark, maybe a damp environment. And if we just leave this unbothered for a while, we're gonna see the potato develop something that's referred to as eyes, and it's gonna continue to grow almost like a root system, and an entire potato plant can be produced from this single potato, which is going to produce more potatoes. So that lets me know that everything that this potato, not just this one potato, but this entire species of plants needs is already contained in this potato. As I mentioned earlier, all of these things have potential just like us. And just know, we are way more complex than an apple, a lime, and a potato. If we were to really break down the body and its systems and the way our organs work together, we are way more complex than these things. So just imagine what we could produce. And also, this is a reminder, we already contain everything that we need within us to produce. And we just have to always keep in line with being in the right environment so we could produce what's intended for us to produce. Now, an apple, wrong fruit. Now, an apple needs different conditions than a potato. So we got to make sure that if we want to produce apples, we may not want to be in a dark environment because it's not going to be conducive to the development of an apple. But if we know we're producing potatoes and we're potato, we have to get in the right environment. Now, when we deal with potential, we're thinking about even potential energy. Potential energy is a stored energy. It's an energy of position and shape, meaning we could change the position of an object. And depending on that position, we could say maybe the height of that object, that will determine the amount of potential energy it has. The higher I raise this potato up in the air, okay, the height increases, so that means its potential energy is increasing. I am changing its height or its position to give it potential energy, or I could change the shape of an object. So sometimes in order for our potential to really be produced so that we can convert it and get work done, whatever our work is, we have to be willing to change our position or be willing to change our shape. I'm not saying to compromise who we are as individuals, but be willing to change, be willing to pivot, being flexible, for lack of better terms, in the environment that we're in so we could be in the best position that's conducive to our own growth. So these kitchen chronicles are serious. We contain everything we need right here. We just got to be able to rise and grind, and we too will get to the next level. Remember, I'm a teacher, not a speaker, and I want you all to have an amazing day.